Hey, welcome to All Things Brick. I'm Jack, and in this video, I'm going to be doing a full LEGO City tour, which includes my entire city. I'll be doing all of the modular buildings around here, the 5 skyscrapers, and of course, the underground part of the city with a fully functional train and many other cool features. So, yeah, let's get right into the video. Alright, so to start off the tour, I'll be going from this side of the city kind of around, showing the modular buildings first, and then I'll go into more detail with the skyscrapers, and lastly I'll do the underground part of the city. So, over here I think this is a cool place to start the tour, because right here is like the main street of the city, and it has some of the oldest buildings of like the modular buildings, including this one, which is in fact the oldest building that I have in my city. So with the modular buildings, I do something unique. I kind of like take the Lego set and then remake the entire like front of it. Some of them are more changed than others. You'll notice like some, like the street lamps are all taken off. The tile pattern is slightly different. It's kind of hard to see, but I do change a lot of the things in each modular building Lego set. And also, to make my city kind of unique, I add these like mocks, my own creation things of modular buildings, and you can see those kind of sprinkled about alongside the actual like Lego sets. So there's some cool modular buildings like the assembly square, which I didn't do too much. I changed around a little things like the water fountain in the front and other types of things just to make it more customizable and kind of like the way I want it to fit into my city. So this is like right here. This is probably the center of my city. I'm working on a plaza in the city updates right now for the exact center of the city. There's some other like little gathering areas in between the skyscrapers, but this area right here is really cool and I like it a lot because it's surrounded by all the Lego modular buildings and these skyscrapers. So over here, down in this little strip of buildings, I have the Brick Bank Lego set, which is probably my favorite modular building. If I was to have any favorite, it would be the Brick Bank. I didn't change a whole lot in the front of this building. It's kind of like the same as the Lego set. Then I have other buildings like my own creation right here, the Downtown Diner, which is a really cool Lego modular building. And some other of my own creations towards the end right here, like my own like museum and other like Lego set adapted buildings. And then as you keep moving over here, I have a construction site which I'm going to eventually turn into a modular building. This general area is kind of like still under construction. The whole Lego city is a work in progress type of thing. So this is not a finished product. There's a lot of new changes that will come in the next few city updates. And over here I have this like little park area that will also eventually be modular buildings. It's kind of like the placeholder for those buildings. And this is a really cool area and probably one of the favorites. This is the rocket ship launching area. And this is the cool feature of my city where there's this like little window to the underground world, where I'll show in just a second. But that's where the rocket ships kind of launch out of if this was like a real life type of thing. So the only thing over here that's left is kind of like the car parking lot where the electric cars charge. That's just more of like I didn't want that to be a building because it's right next to the rocket ship, and like it makes sense that there would not be a building over there. So as I move over here, I have the most recent building, which is the police station modular building. The front is customized a lot to fit into my city, and I did do a bunch of edits like around there in the building just to make it unique a little and fit in more with the city. And so that's kind of all over there. And right here is like this another placeholder for eventually there will be a modular building there. So that's just there for a placeholding spot, whatever, I don't know. Yeah, so over here is a cool sci-fi building. You may notice with all the electric cars and the different types of things. My city is focused a lot on science fiction, and this building is a really cool representation of that. I just went crazy here and built like one of the most unique modular buildings ever. So yeah, that's what this building is right here. And as I move down along here, there's the court, like the government buildings, and then some more modular buildings and some more of my own designs. These two buildings, I know this is the back side, but it's kind of hard to get the camera over there, but these two buildings are the older types of my own creations, which I'll probably change in a little while because they're not the most designed buildings and they don't look a whole lot good compared to the other buildings. But yeah, anyway. And the last building right here is the corner garage. I think that's what it's called. I did do, like, this is the most noticeable change from any modular building probably, where I took away the gas station and stuff there and replaced it with like a tree in like a central small plaza for like people to hang around over there. So that's basically summing up all the modular buildings. So to start off the skyscrapers, I have to start with Jack Tech. This building is my favorite building out of all 5 skyscrapers, and this one was the first skyscraper that I've ever completed fully. It has a fully finished exterior as well as a fully detailed interior with all floors and details on each floor. I actually have I have a hospital here, a robotics lab, like a science lab, all sorts of different cool features on here, including like a drone room with this cool like door that opens up for the drones to fly in and out of. Like, I added pretty much all the details I could possibly fit into this building. And this building even comes off like into different modules, like a modular building. So definitely my favorite building, and I really like that skyscraper. So over here, I'll go to this building next. This one right here is a skyscraper that I didn't want to limit myself with floors, so I decided I wasn't going to put floors in there for the time being, and I built the building based off of any design I could do if I wasn't limited to floors. So I put all these cool like angles and curves on there to like see what I could come up with without being limited to floors. I mean, eventually I will probably put floors in this building. The floors though will be a little weird because of the different angles and stuff, but anyway, I really like how that building turned out. It's definitely one of the cooler like style buildings. But the coolest one, I think, for the style would have to go to this building right here because of the twisty design that I built it off of. And this is like really cool. And all this really is a series of rectangles just kind of offset with the jumper plates on the corners. And it makes this really cool design. And it looks like the skyscraper is twisting, well, because it actually is, but it's like really cool. And of course, I'll eventually put floors in here. I just haven't gotten around to the pieces yet because I want to focus on other things. But yeah. So for a second, I'm just going to skip this building and go on to this building, which is the most recent building that I created. This one's the more futuristic building. I built it off of like a design, kind of like how the Apple store, if you've ever been to an Apple store, it's kind of like all glass on the floor. And so I built it off of that premise. And then I built these little pods on the side and then put all these like vegetation on the top. So it's not 100% finished yet, and it also doesn't have an interior, so it is still a work in progress, but it is one of the most like coolest looking buildings. It brings a lot of color to the skyscrapers instead of having them like the bland colors like the normal. So yeah, so lastly, this skyscraper right here, which is in fact the biggest skyscraper that I have in my city. It has the coolest features with the elevators, which I'll get to in like 1 second. But it has all these cool features like the slant, which was actually really hard to build. It's not fully complete yet. I still need the windows, which if you're a long-term viewer and you saw the city updates where I kept saying the windows weren't coming, just because they don't have the pieces yet online. I can't find them anywhere, but eventually this will be finished. But yeah, it's not 100% done. It does have floors, and there's a few details on here, like the lobby floor, the restaurant floor, and then the football field, which are the fully finished ones. But other than that, the other floors are just empty for now. But yeah, so the elevator shaft. So this building is really cool because it has 2 fully functional elevators that go all the way down right through the table to the base floor. So right here is the underground part of the city, and the elevator shaft comes out right here, where the elevators, the remote controlled elevators, can go right through the table and empty out from the skyscraper, empty out right here at the train station. So I'll start the tour in the underground part of the city over here. So basically, this is like the lobby area where people can come out the elevators and then hop onto one of the subway trains. And then, so this is like a 3-tracked train station. This track right here is the main loop. They all connect right there where that train car is. But that is the main loop that goes all the way around the city. And these 2 tracks are just kind of like the siding tracks. But yeah, anyway, so right here, I'll show this train real quick. This is one of the strongest trains that I've ever made, like custom built. It has 2 motors and a battery pack, and this can hold like a ton of cars, and it can go like extremely fast. So it's definitely one of my favorite trains, and the whole thing is custom built. So I designed all these cars basically from scratch, and of course the train engine from scratch as well. So moving along over here, this area is like the water treatment plant and also the sewage treatment plant. And so I based a lot of this stuff in this section of the city on science fiction, like themed. So all this stuff is really cool. It has like a sewer treatment plant and like a fertilizer generator, and it's all kind of connected to like the hydroponic farm and stuff over there. So a lot of science stuff basically, because I like science a lot. And I thought it'd be kind of unique to have some like raw like machinery in the underground part of the city, kind of like what you would expect to see if you went like, I don't know, like in the sewer or something, or like underneath the roads in like a giant city. So yeah, that's kind of like what that area is over there. What is over here is pretty cool. This is the rocket ship area. It's not finished. This wall is like not even, I don't even know what that is, but it's going to be fully built into like a like a silo type of thing. And these rocket ships are custom built, and basically they fit through this hole in the table. And they go down here, and what it lands on is a conveyor belt. And basically, it can fit up to 3 rocket ships. I only have 2, but whatever. It can fit up to 3, and basically the conveyor belt brings them back and makes room for another rocket ship to go through there. And I like science fiction so much, I actually built a space station way up there near the ceiling, which is pretty cool. It kind of brings like a story and like a meaning for like the rocket ship's like significance in the city. So yeah, anyway, so moving along down over here, this is like the main train line, and it branches off into some other like siding areas for just random things to make it look more realistic. And also there's another one over there for the water tanks so they can be refilled and stuff. So it's pretty realistic. And over here there's also another smaller train filled with like gravel and stuff like that. So over here is like the control center for the nuclear power plant, which is pretty cool. It's based on nuclear fusion, which is a little different than fission. But basically this powers the entire city. And I thought it was a really cool thing to put under here because it goes along great with all the other science fiction things. And lastly, the hydroponic farm, which is right here. You can kind of, it's a little hard to see because it's in the middle of the table. I mean, the middle of the underground part of the table. But basically that's where the city grows all of their food and stuff. And yeah, so that basically sums up the entire city. There's definitely a lot of room for expansion on the underground level, much more than the above ground, but yeah, so I think that's basically all for this video. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like, and also consider subscribing to see some future city updates and watch the city grow. Thank you for watching.